Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's Claytano. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And today we're back with another Dungeon Hunter Champions video sponsored by Gameloft. And today we're going over part 2 of Update 3. If you guys missed my first one, go ahead and watch that and then bring it right back here to watch the second part. Don't forget, guys, every time you comment and like one of my videos this month, you'll be entered to win a Samsung tablet. Just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I post a video, because the more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Good luck. Okay, so this is part 2. If you guys haven't already downloaded Dungeon Hunter Champions, make sure you guys do that. I'm gonna put a very convenient link in the description for you guys. All you have to do is click on that, whether you're using your phone, your computer. It is available for your Android, iOS, and Windows 10 devices, and that link will take you to whatever device you need to do to download it for the device that you're watching this video from. It's really awesome, and trust me, it's the easiest way. It's the easiest way to get to the game. All right, so Dungeon Hunter Champions came out with a huge update 3. We already went over the quality of life and bug updates. It was an extremely long list of just fixes and just things that are gonna make our life so much easier. And the patch notes, guys, that they released are monstrous. There's so much going on. So this is part 2. I don't know exactly how many parts this is gonna be, but this is the Champion PvE balancing notes. So this is, I wanted to dedicate a video just to this because there's so much going on, so many new balances. And I think I want to break it down and go over it in detail rather than trying to rush through it. So this is my thoughts on the new update. Let me know your guys' thoughts by posting your comments down below. All right, so let's get into it though. General. Many champions had bonus damage that was ignoring elemental relationships, skill ups, defense, and couldn't crit. We wanted bonus damage to follow similar rules to other types of damage, so several champions have been adjusted for consistency. See details below for more info. Okay, so several 4-star and 5-star champions were underused in late game play. To address this, we've buffed several of these champions and given them unique effects. So 4-star and 5-star champions were underused. So they actually said on their live stream that they went through the entire list of 4-star and 5-star champions and thought to themselves, is this champion underperforming? Can we make it better? Are we able to make it better? And then they came out with this to make most of them much better. All right, so the next one here, fixed AI bug where a champion would not activate long-range abilities when immobilized. So if it's just standing there, you can still shoot somebody across the map if it's, you know, in your range, but I guess the bug was that it would just stand there and be like, yeah, I'm immobilized and I don't want to move my arms to shoot you either. So that's done. That will help us against maybe some violets, right? They immobilize us with that thing and we're just standing in there. Yeah, so that's something that could happen as well. Now, the Bomber will now be joining the Pirate and Magical Girl in the standard pool of champions available through summoning. Nice, so we can get all these champions now through our normal summoning rare discs. Added new advanced skill description for several champions. Added a new legendary buff, Shred Defense. And we'll get to who actually got this new legendary debuff here in a second as we go through the champions. But this legendary debuff lowers enemies' defense by 5% and stacks up to 5 times, 25% total reduction. This effect stacks with blighted and lower defense. This debuff is currently found on the Siege Tower and Mai Shiranui. Now, we haven't gone over Mai Shiranui yet, but it is one of the new champions that has come out. That'll be in a later video. So again, if you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to get notified when my videos go live, because I will be posting a lot of Dungeon Hunter Champions content here very soon. Okay, so that's that. Now the fact, though, I just want to highlight this real quick. This effect stacks with blighted and lower defense. Remember that, okay? Remember that. Now, Boon Sister, right? Added text explaining that Wave of Celerity's cooldown cannot be reduced by skills. This was already true, but not explained clearly. Thank you for the clarification. Top community bug. Fixed a bug where the waterfall skill didn't apply the lower defense buff on bosses / static characters. Okay, cool. So that's just for the waterfall skill. So that's actually very interesting. I didn't even know that was happening, but it's now not going to happen anymore. It's not good. You guys understand. So the bomber now, transphasic bomb, light and fire, skill description updated to include the fact that it removes all buffs from affected enemies. It already had this effect, but it was missing from the skill description. It was missing from the skill description that it removes all buffs from affected enemies. That is a huge thing to leave out. But now you guys know. So maybe Bomber is going to see some more action, and maybe some people are going to be building him now that they know that this is what he does. Dynamite, Fire, and Light fixed a bug where the skill wasn't using the right damage equation. It effectively enhanced the damage of the skill by 300%. Wow. So it was doing a lot more damage than it was really supposed to be doing. I bet you a lot of you guys didn't even know that because you didn't build them, because you didn't know that it removes all buffs from affected enemies, didn't you guys? I knew it. I knew it. All right, so the Archangel got a little buff. Well, most of them did. And it was the Aegis skill for Nature, Fire, and Light. Now, it is the shield, right? They put up a little shield. Now, the shield amount now will be based on Archangel's max HP instead of the affected allies' max HP. This is a huge buff because as a 5-star who scales on max HP, the Archangel almost always has more HP than his targets. So if you take a look at this, guys, I'm just going to pull up my game real quick here. Yeah, I'll update patch notes. So in my game, I have an Ardenellis that has 25,000 plus 48,000 HP. And then I also pair him every now and then with a Rhoda. If it was based on my Rhoda's HP, that would be based on like 27,000, 28,000 roughly HP. But now it's based on almost 75,000 HP, and it's going to make his shield and the nature one and the light one much more effective and take a lot more damage and just eat up a lot more damage basically. So that's super cool. A lot of people have been saying that the nature one should have got a little bit extra because it's still a little bit lackluster, but I think it can still possibly be viable now with this extra change. The only thing is that, you know, light is also still farmable through ritual summons, which could probably still better than the nature one. So we'll see what the controversy happens with that, if they're going to update it again or if they're just going to leave it as be. If you guys have any suggestions on what the skills should be changed to, drop those comments down below as well. Ink Ninja. This one, they basically said that this is like one of their favorite characters. It's got like the best graphics, the best artwork. A lot of people think it's the best, right? So brushstroke, all elements increase damage by 20% and now ignores 25% defense. This bonus also applies to the bonus damage on marked targets. So 25% defense, that's awesome. Tongue Lash from the water one and Tongue Smack from the fire and light. Now we'll ignore 25% defense. You got it. Ink Spirit Calling, light, nature, and water. Reduce the delay between the end of the cast animation and the frog popping out of the ground by 50%. So instead of like swarming around and then popping, it's gonna swarm around and pop. Right, 50% decrease. It's very, very noticeable, especially in 5 vs 5. You're gonna notice that as well. But we'll get to the 5v5 champion changes here in another part to this massive monster update. Damage on unmarked targets has been increased by 180%. Added 35% ignored defense on both marked and unmarked target. Crit damage bonus increased to 30% on marked target in addition to automatic crit. So huge buffs for those guys. And then the Dark and Fire one were also not forgotten. They reduced the delay as well of the fire popping out of the ground, the frog popping out of the ground. Damage on unmarked target has been increased by 180% and ignores 35% on unmarked target and 65% defense on marked target. So many changes to the Ink Ninja. I think they're gonna do massive amounts of damage. They're gonna be more of a strong nuking option than they already have been, and they're going to start probably, my guess is outperforming some of those other 3-stars that you guys have been using instead of them, because they're going to do more damage now. They're going to ignore so much defense, which is crazy. So here we get into the Siege Tower, and there's only one small difference to the fire and the dark one, and it's the head cannon, the one that, you know, the one that doesn't do the damage over the time or the ongoing damage, right? These are the two that don't do ongoing damage. Everyone else does in the Siege Tower family. So they only changed the two that didn't for the better. So hand cannon, fire and dark, projectiles, and explosion projectiles and explosions now apply the Shred Defense legendary buff, minus 5% defense stacking up to 5 times, but only once per target per projectile. So projectile, projectile, projectile. What, I think they shoot like 5 projectiles. So I'm thinking that they're going to be able to max stack this legendary Shred Defense, the Shred Defense legendary buff in one head cannon, right? That's what I'm thinking. So if I go into my champions here and I pull up my, well, I actually don't have one, but I don't know why I started looking for this champion because I don't have it. So let me go here and go to my Fire Abigail and just see. So head cannon fires 5 cannonballs at an enemy while channeling. Each damages and slows, and then it has that legendary shred. So my guess, yeah, you're going to be able to max stack legendary shred with one head cannon. That's my thought. And it's probably going to shred some defense. And then you're going to stack it with some regular defense lowering debuffs, and it's going to be insane. Probably for higher levels of Elder Drake, and it might actually be better than the ongoing damage siege towers, and I'm just going to throw that out there. It very well may be. It very well might be. All right, so there's a couple more changes here. We have the Magical Girl, Ribbon Whip, Nature and Water, and Ribbon Lash, Dark and Light. Replace last skill up level with 10% cooldown. So right now, Ribbon Whip and Ribbon Lash, what are they doing? Ribbon Whip and Ribbon Lash. Ribbon Whip. So instead of a damage extra plus 5%, so they actually buffed the water one a little bit. That's pretty cool. They actually buffed it a little bit. It's basically a little buff. All right, let's talk about the Monkey Kings. So in general, this champion was underperforming for a 5-star champion. Agreed. We've given him buffs across the board. In addition, he will now have access to Legendary Silence to give him a unique tool in his kit and reinforce his role in picking out and isolating individual enemies. So Legendary Silence. We're going to talk about what that means. But Nimbus Strike, all elements, increase the damage by 40% for both normal and empowered versions. So much more damage. Overhead Flip, Fire and Light, reduce cooldown from 8 to 6 seconds. Add a 1 skill level that gives 10% damage, so even more damage. Reduce the cooldown. Overhead Toss, reduce cooldown from 8 to 6 seconds. Now inflicts the Legendary Silence buff. So when you're flipping them over your head, you're Legendary Silencing them. So when the idea is that you're supposed to go into the arena, pick out one target that you want to Legendary Silence, flip them over your head, they're out of the game, and they can't even, they basically can't even remove that buff is what that means. Change skill level 3 bonus to give plus half a second duration to its buff. Change skill level 4 to give 15% damage bonus instead of 10%. Added 1 skill level that gives plus 1 seconds to its debuff. So monkeys are getting a huge buff. Monkey Tricks, Firelight, Nature, and Acrobatic Feint, Dark Water, reduce cooldown from 12 seconds to 9 seconds and increase the damage by 20%. So huge damage increase and huge debuff increase. Tag Team and Mischievous Clones reduce cooldowns from 36 seconds to 30 seconds. That's gonna make a huge difference. Huge difference. Nagas as well. Nagas, like there's so much more going on here, guys. There is so much more. So sit back, relax, okay? The Nagas, Bubble Shield, Water, Nature, Dark, and Rejuvenating Stream, Fire, Light. Lowers all cooldowns, skill cooldowns on himself and allies with greater amounts for longer cooldown skills. This equivalent to Light Boon Sister, Wave of Celerity. So longer cooldown, you have a greater decrease. So it's more of like a percentage base is what I'm guessing. 1.5 seconds on skill 3. Oh, so skill 1, so it changes it depending on the skill of specific champions. So 1.5 seconds skill cooldown. Interesting. It's not a percentage. This is what it just explains it right here. That's what it does. Nice. So that actually could be more useful in certain dungeons again, where I actually switch them out for some other units. That it could actually work now again. Interesting. Okay, so Dino Kid also got a huge update. Blowgun / Chomp all elements. Range attack damage increased by 25%, and it will now ignore the defense ignore 25% of the defense. Melee attacks now restore HP equal to 25% of the damage dealt. So the way it is now, I think you ignore defense while you're chomping, and you don't do anything while you're ranged, or something else happens. But now you get to lifesteal, and you can ignore people's defense from afar, get them close, and start munching that HP back. Headbutt, all elements, now ignores 25% of the target's defense. Paralysis, dart, and tranquilizing dart, and toxic dart now ignore 25% of the target's defense. And then ferocious roar, get them. Damage will totally be based on attack instead of a mixture of attack and max HP. So it's just going to be a huge damage dealing Dino Kid now. It's a 4-star unit. You guys should be super happy about that. I think they're going to be great in 5v5 as well. Timekeeper. This is a little different one. I don't think I need to explain all of this because I'm going to explain it in my own words, but Echo Blade, casual reverse from both the light, the dark, the fire, and time inversion, nature, water, reduced healing by 60%. So it's nerfing all of the Timekeepers, and basically the reason why is because the Timekeepers are probably the most used champion in a lot of different aspects of the game, and it wants to make you guys a little bit more creative to find out different ways to use him. He's still going to be used in a lot of those still very similar areas, but he's gonna take a little bit more support with him if you happen to still be dying, because most people don't rely on his heal. But if you do rely on his heal, you might have to bring that healer back into the mix of things. So just keep that in mind. Dragon Guard. Now this is a huge top arena defense unit, and I've actually talked about it in previous videos as well. So they changed it. Basically, all you need to know is these three right here. Guardian Impact, reduced damage by 25%. Megaton Stomp, reduced damage by 25%. And Fix the Mighty Swing and Bruising Swing that had a portion of the damage that was ignoring defense, bypass elemental relationships, and couldn't crit. So basically, it was doing way too much damage. It was able to tank everything, leap at the squishy units, one-shot those guys, and then basically have this huge support undying buff that is, it was extremely crazy. 25% decrease, I don't think is going to be that much, but we'll see. I still think it's going to be very viable. Candy Munchkin is also getting a huge buff. So add text to indicate that the cap on the max HP damage scales with her attack. The mechanics are unchanged. So bonus damage based on max HP can now benefit from skill ups. So you're doing more damage from skill ups. Bonus damage based on max HP can now crit. Fix the bug that caused bonus damage based on max HP to ignore defense and elemental relationships. So, oh, maybe I didn't know if that was happening or not previously, but basically they're going to be a lot more useful in those high boss dungeons where you are dealing with some monsters or some bosses that have a lot of HP, and they're doing there's not a whole lot of champions in the game that do damage based on the enemy's max HP, and I think Candy Munchkins are going to be brought right back into the mix, into meta. They've already been used a lot, but they're going to be used even more because it's just going to shred the boss's HP. All right, so we have Shark. We have a little Shark update. So bonus damage based on enemy missing HP is now capped at 30 times the Shark's attack, so it was doing way too much damage. This is a very high cap, much higher than most champions skill 3, so it is unlikely to impact the damage dealt in most situations. It will mostly only affect certain endgame bosses to prevent doing astronomical damage with one skill. So basically he was doing way too much damage in certain aspects, but you're probably not going to see a difference at all. Valkyrie added text explaining that Tailwind's cooldown cannot be reduced by skills. This was already true, but now not explained correctly. Not explained clearly. Fixed a bug that caused Tornado to sometimes not deal damage in arena. So nice, I get to use my Valkyrie and do even more damage. Consistently, at least. Pirate, all aboard skill now passes through walls. So that's the swing, right? And that's going to be amazing for 5v5. We're not doing the 5v5 champion updates in today's video, but that's going to be a little bit later because there's so many different changes in that as well. It's going to be amazing. Okay, so fixed an issue with the Pirate Barrage and Anchor AI freeze bug that causes champs to stand still at the edge of the area and to walk towards indefinitely, only to get pulled back instead of just standing still to attack. So basically, if you've ever been trapped in this thing, you can't move because you're always trying to move out of the circle. And even if you click to stand somewhere in the circle where you're not being chained and brought back, it's allowing you now to stand in the chain and still be able to shoot from afar. So that's pretty nice. Dozer. Fixed Bulldoze and Unstoppable Advance that had a portion of the damage that was ignoring defense, bypass elemental relationships, and couldn't crit. Okay, so that's a very similar bug as we've seen previously. That's fixed. Squire. Fixed Shield Bash that had a portion of the damage that was ignoring defense, bypass elemental relationship, and couldn't crit. Okay, again, same thing. Scion. Fixed value of level 2 skill bonus on Radiation Ray. It will now show 5%. So, damn. That is a ton of balancing updates, guys, and all of them are extremely relevant. So the fact that they are listening to us is amazing. It's amazing because it's creating a better environment for everybody that's playing the game. If you guys have any suggestions for other skill ups, go throw them down in the comment section. You never know. Gameloft is listening. So aside from that, guys, though, thank you so much for watching. Thank you again to Gameloft for sponsoring this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to get notified of when my videos go live, because I will be posting the next parts to this update, because there's so many different things that I want to spend a lot of time and talk about on for the next one coming out in the next couple days in the future. So aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, stay soupy, don't be potatoes, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace.